Snautra aure mazda Hashem vahu vahishtem asti Ushtaste Ushtahamai yatashai vahishtai Hashem Baname ahura mazda. To think a good thought, to speak a good word, to do a good deed is righteousness. Happiness comes to those who live with the consciousness of righteousness. And with that sentiment, ladies and gentlemen, this is Meher Amal Saad and welcome to Bahumata, a program designed to build oneness with the consciousness of righteousness in humanity. The goal is not to grow the plant but to plant the seed for each one of us to blossom with our own love, light, grace, joy and peace. So sit back, relax, and get ready for this very special journey to enlightenment. And as you do, please join me in giving a warm Zartushti welcome to our very own Zartushti neuroscientist from United Kingdom, Dr. Karishma Khoka.
Thank you very much, Baba Meher, for your kind introduction and for arranging our speakers for today's program to share the messages of Osho Zarathustra Sahib on this webinar, Bahumata, which means with good thoughts. We're very grateful to Mr. Yazdi Tantra, who shares these programs on Zoroastrians.net and supports us with his Zoom and his presence. We request each of our speakers to focus their presentations on the concepts, words, and lines and the meanings from the prayers related to the guiding theme, if possible, while providing references and valuable experiences and actions that will make a difference to the lives of the listeners. There are 4 principles of Bahumata: to conserve and share the knowledge in the prayers and the practice of the Zarathushti Daina, to honor our priests and knowledgeable elders, to bridge communication between the elders and the youth, and importantly, build fellowship so that together with good thoughts and the people around the world, we can build happiness and prosperity for all. With the upcoming 13th World Zoroastrian Congress in Singapore, with the themes that are so critical to today's society, including rejuvenating the Zoroastrian identity, we hope each of you can contribute in some way to the Congress so that we can all reach out, aspire, and rise. Today's 4 speakers are Ervat Parvez Karanjia from India, Ervat Neville Kanga from the USA with his twin sister, Natasha, Ian Dabu from Singapore, and Dr. Mehran Seferi from the UK and Iran. And the theme is Life Gives Seen Fruits from Unseen Roots, with a focus on the Ahunavaiti Gatha Yasna 31, verse 21, and other Gatha verses and Zarathushti prayers. My gratitude to Mr. Meher Amal Saad for arranging all the speakers. We now request Ervat Sahib Parvez Karanjia to give us a hum bandagi. Thank you, Ervat Sahib.
Yatha ahuvairyo ataratus asautashitasya vangyos dasdam manengo shautaninam vangyos mastai kshatrim chai aurai aim daregubiyam dadadavakstarem Yatha ahuvairyo ataratus asautashitasya Vangyos dasdam maningo Shauthaninam Vangyau Smastai Kshatrim Chai Aurai Aim Dare Gubiyo Dadadavakstarim Ashaim Vahu Vahistamasti Ustavasti Usta Ammai Yat Ashai Vahistai Ashaim.
Yazdan Panamba. Thank you,
Yes, done.
Arvat Sahib.
All of you, good morning, good afternoon, and
May
good
I
evening.
just give an introduction to you and then invite you to give your talk? Arvat Sahib Parvez Karanja is the Panthaki Sahib, the head priest of the J.D. Amarya Soda Water Wala Agyari in Marine Lines, Bombay. Arvat Sahib performs ceremonies including Navar, Martab, and other important ceremonies, from initiations of young Zartoshti priests to Naujots to marriages and so on. In addition, he also delivers speeches and lectures on the Zartushti Daina and organizes Hambandagis. Arvat Sahib Parvez Karanja has been a Panthaki Sahib, the head priest, in the Agyari for 40 years and more at different Agyaris, the Bodhan Agyari in Surat, the Mota Parsivad in Valsad, the Setna Agyari in Bombay, the Kamabag Agyari in Mumbai, the Pardi Agyari in Pardi, and has also served as the priest in the Wadiaji Atash Behram in Bombay. Arvat Sahib Karanja mastered the Avastha Matravani script from the M.F. Kama Athornan Institute, Andheri, under the guidance of the late Savaksa Dorabji Sidhwa, the Iran Shah Boywala Sahib. Arvat Sahib completed his Navar and Martab ceremonies under the supervision and guidance of Principal Dasturji Feroz Kotwal and Arvat Sahib Aibara in the Soda Waterwala Agyari. Arvat Parvez is also a graduate from the Bombay University with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and a graduate from the National Defence Academy, and has served the country as a commanding officer, single star platoon officer for 15 years, serving honorarily in Bombay and Valsad. He's also a consultant for aromatherapy, color therapy, astrology, numerology, gemology, Vastu Shastra, and Jamaspi Taviz. His business has achieved the prestigious ISO 9001-2015 certificate from the International Accurate Certificate, which is accredited by UASL in England. He has also availed the Udyog Aadhaar Memoranda and Udyog Aadhaar registration certificates. He offers matchmaking services and offers Jamaspi Tavizes made of copper to Parsi Zoroastrians for specific spiritual purposes. And his consultancy has broken all geographical barriers, as Arvat Karanja serves people across the globe, over 20 countries, and has numerous awards and government certificates and pledges. We thank you for being with us today in another Bahumata talk, and you have talked for us 2 years ago now, and we remember your talk well. Over to you. Thank you, Sahib.
All of you, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today's subject, very important. You have captured the absolutely heartbeat of Zarathustra philosophy, the beautiful phrase, life gives seen fruits from unseen roots, is a perfect modern farming of Yasna 31. Foundations, law of Asher, universal order, truth and cosmic cause and effect. Yajasne 31. Pasdau dadato haura tato amere tatasya purois asakiyasya va paitiya kshatriya ksaro vangeus vasdavare manango ye hoi mainyu shotnaisya urvato. Masda, Dadat, will bestow, will grant, Auro, Aura Tato of prosperity, of will. Amare Tatasya, end of immortality. Purois, great, abundant, Mahan, Bharpu. Ashakyacha, end of righteousness or holiness. Wa Paitya, by good progeny to carry on the life and purpose of the world. દુનિયાના હેતુ અને તેનું જીવન સદાકાલ આગળ વધારવા માટે. ક્ષત્રિય of the control power of procreations, પુનર્સર્જનની સંયમ શક્તિ. વંગેઉસ મનંગો, સંસ્કૃતની અંદર વસોસ મનસસ of purity of mind, સાત્વિક મન. Vasdavare, absolute firmness of the boon of steadfastness, Sampurna Dhrattati, Sthitana Prasati. Ye, who, hoi, is of Mazda Aura, Mainu, taught the beneficent Mainu Spenta, Shotnaisha, and taught deeds or actions, અને કાર્યો દ્વારા અથવા કાર્યોથી. પુરવઠો, the chosen religious preceptors. The mechanics of Zarathustri harvesting. Zoroastrianism is a completely proactive faith. It rejects the idea of random fate or arbitrary divine anger. Instead, it operates on a spiritual ecosystem. Yourself as a mirror, the Daina Yasna 31:20. Mazda Aura will bestow gifts all prosperity and immortality, indeed of great righteousness, of the glow of virtue, of the control power of procreations by good parentage, as well as of absolute steadfastness, of the purity of mind to him who becomes throughout benevolent Spenta Menu and his action, his chosen religious preceptors. Yourself as the mirror, the Daina, Yasna 31:20 version, right before yours, explicitly states that the wicked are condemned to darkness by their own slaves throughout their own deeds. Your inner conscious Daina grows into the reality you experience. Umata, Bhukta, Vurasta, good thoughts, unseen root, good words, the steam breaking the surface, and good deeds, the visible fruit. You cannot harvest a good life. The seed of a throat was bitter. The Chinmad bridge, at the end of life, the soul crosses a spiritual bridge. The bridge physically widened into a beautiful pathway for the righteous or narrows to a razor's edge for the wicked. What alters the bridge? The literal weight of your life's choices. The bridge is just the visible fruit of your soul's unseen journey. By focusing on the unseen roots, the cultivations of a clean mind, vow mana, and alignment with truth, you naturally allow Auramasta light to bloom as beautiful fruit in your daily existence. The Amesa Spenta, the 6 steps leader of manifestations. Bhavamana, the good mind, the stage, the seed, the conception. How it works. Everything begins in the unseen realm of the mind. Bhavamana is the spark of wisdom, a pure intention, or a good thoughts. Umata, before you build a business, heal a relationship, or create art, you must receive and cultivate the pure mental blueprint. This is the ultimate unseen truth. Asavahista, highest truth order, the stage, the law, the strategy, how it works. Once you have the thought, it must be aligned with Asha, the cosmic law of truth, righteousness, and precise natural order. In practical terms, this means Structuring your thought into a righteousness plan. Is honest? Does it align with natural laws? Associate the raw idea into a flawless, workable pattern. Shatra Vaidya. Shatra Vaidya, a desirable dominion willpower. The stage, the acceleration power in action. How it works. A good plan is useless without the power of execute it. Shatra Vaidya represents righteous power, authority, and focused willpower. This is where you physically step into the world, use your resources, exert effort, and speak good words, Gupta, and perform good deeds, Havarasta. It is the bridge where the unseen throughout forces. It way into physical reality. Spenta Armati, holy devotions, serene faith, the stage, the cultivation, patience, and love. How it works. In the material world, fruits do not appear overnight. After taking action, you need spenta armati, deep, unshakable devotions, faith, and emotional attachment to good work. It is associated with the earth because, like a mother or a farmer, it represents the quiet, enduring patience required to nurse the seed while it grows hidden in the soil. The seen fruits, the final rewards. When you successfully practice the first 4 steps in the final 2 Amesa Spentas arrive, naturally, as the harvested sin fruits of your labor, they are always paired together. Auratat, wholeness, perfections, the stage, the fruit, completion. How it works. This is the physical manifestation of success. Auratat represent health, integrity, and the perfections of your goal. The business is trying, the character is built, or the project is perfectly completed. It is the tangible, beautiful result of your aligned element. Ultimate root and fruit prayers, the Ashembo. If you look at the foundational daily Zatoshti prayers, this exact law of cause and effects is constantly reinforced. The Hashem Vahu, which every Zoroastrian recites multiple times a day, is essentially a meditation on a planting pure roots. Hashem Vahu Vaistamasti, righteousness, Asa is the highest good. Usta Asti Usta Ammai, happiness is it? Happiness is for him. Yatashai Vaistai Hashem, who is righteous for the sake of righteousness alone. The core creations of the carpet. Amesa Spenta, meaning and purpose. Spenta menu represents humanity and the spark of divine consciousness and presiding over the ceremony. Baumana, represented by the milk, jiva, or ghee used, symbolizing the animal kingdom and benevolence. Asha Vahista, the central fire fed with sandalwood and frankincense, representing cosmic order, energy, and pure light. Kshatravaya, the copper or brass trays, 5 vases and chipias, symbolizing the mineral kingdom and righteousness power. The language of the flowers, most dynamic part of the ceremony. તમે જોયું હશે કે આપણે જસનની અંદર આપણે ફૂલો મૂકીએ, તે ફૂલનું પણ એક મહત્વ છે. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arvat Sai Parvez Karanjia. How beautifully you related this concept of Life gives seen fruits from unseen roots to Zarthosh Sahib's Gathic verse, Yasna 31 verse 21, and also to Yasna 31 verse 20, the previous verse, and related it so well to the concept of how a righteous teacher brings us light in our life so that we can live our life to reveal those fruits which come from the foundations we set. Thank you. We have now a dynamic duo, Ervat Sahib Neville Kanga and his sister Natasha Kanga, in a dialogue giving the next presentation. Ervat Neville is a driven and motivated Ervat Sahib currently studying aerospace engineering at the University of Texas at Austin, where he has developed a strong interest in orbital mechanics and composite manufacturing. He completed his Navar and Martab at the Vacha Gandhi Agyari in Mumbai in India. He is active in the Houston Zoroastrian community, regularly participating in muktads, jashans, and other religious ceremonies. Ervat Neville co-founded a 501c3 non-profit organization called Center of Giving, where he has organized fundraisers, collected donations for the Dadar, Athornan, and Ava Bai Petit schools, the Parsi General Hospital, and Lady Hirabai Kavasji Jahangir Health Unit. Through these experiences, Ervat Neville not only contributes to his community, but also deepens his understanding of the faith's rituals and values, fostering a sense of responsibility, leadership, and community service. Beyond academics, Ervat Neville is actively involved in hands-on engineering organizations on campus. He's a member of the composites team for a small aircraft building club, where he contributes to the design and manufacturing of lightweight structural components. Additionally, he serves as a controls engineer on a rocketry team, working on guidance and control systems that further strengthen his technical and problem-solving skills in aerospace applications. Ervat Neville has also been a percussionist since his early school days, and he continues the passion by joining the UT Engineering Chamber Orchestra, where he performs on campus, at public concerts, and in nursing homes. He also enjoys playing soccer, video games, traveling, and exploring new foods from different cultures. Looking ahead, Ervat Neville aspires to build a career in the aerospace industry with the goal of working at organizations such as NASA, Boeing, or SpaceX. With a strong foundation in engineering, a curiosity for innovation, and a deep-rooted sense of community and faith, he remains open to new challenges and opportunities that will shape his future path. His sister, Natasha, is a rising junior at the University of Texas at Austin, where she is majoring in biochemistry. Natasha is passionate about understanding disease mechanisms and developing treatments that can directly improve human health. She has been at the UT Austin Freshman Research Initiative for the past 3 semesters, where she mentors incoming freshman students. In addition to that, she conducts her own research focused on improving protein production and exploring innovative applications such as creating electrically conductive bacterial nanowires, a project that merges biochemistry with bioengineering and the development of sustainable bioelectronics. Outside of academics, Natasha enjoys playing the violin with the UT Orchestra Club, where she combines her long-standing passion for music with collaboration, creativity, and public performance. She is also actively involved in student organizations related to biochemistry, molecular biology, and the pharmaceutical sciences, participating in mentorship programs, research collaborations, and science outreach initiatives. In addition to all this, Natasha is engaged in the Houston Zoroastrian community, participating in youth group activities, organizing fundraisers, and supporting cultural events. She co-founded the 501c3 nonprofit organization Center for Giving with her brother, which has raised funds and collected donations for multiple charitable organizations, as we've just seen. These experiences have strengthened her leadership, organizational skills, and sense of responsibility while fostering a commitment to serving her community. In the future, Natasha plans to pursue graduate studies in biochemistry, molecular biology, or pharmacy, focusing on projects that advance drug discovery, oncology research, and therapeutic innovation. She hopes to leverage her research experience, mentorship, and strong foundation in laboratory techniques to contribute meaningfully to scientific progress while continuing to combine her passion for science and community service. What was interesting in both those is the concept of the fire. So in the biochemistry field, we have the mitochondria, without which we don't fire the body. And without an engine, we can't fire an aeronautical engine either, can we? And Osho Zarathustra identified the messages of the fire as the foundation for everything we want to build. So over to you both, and we look forward to your conversation. Neville Kanga and Natasha Kanga.
Thank you so much for the introductions. Natasha and I are happy to be here. Today's topic is about the concept life gives seen fruits from unseen roots. We will share our understanding of this topic and how it aligns with the teachings and translation of Yasna 31.21. The core idea of Yasna 31.21 is that Ahura Mazda bestows his greatest blessings upon those who become his friends through righteous thoughts and actions.
Today, we are going to talk about our interpretation of Yasna 31.21. This idea is closely tied to Zarathustra's core teaching that our entire reality is heavily influenced by the thoughts and choices we cultivate within our minds through Vahumana, or the good mind. Yasna 31.21 beautifully reminds us that life gives seen fruits from unseen roots. In this verse, Zarathustra teaches us that Ahura Mazda grants wholeness, immortality, righteousness to those who align with him in thought and action. His blessings are the visible fruits, but they arise from invisible roots. Our character, our intentions, and our commitment to Humata, Hukta, and Vrshta. What we cultivate within ourselves ultimately shapes what we become and what we contribute to the world.
This verse also teaches us that the lasting transformation begins from within. The good mind, or Vahumana, is the root from which righteous words and deeds grow. Just as healthy roots nourish a tree, our values, faith, and daily choices nourish our lives. If we want to see positive results in our relationships, communities, and the future, we must first strengthen the unseen foundations that support them. Yasna 31.21 reminds us that when our roots are grounded in truth and goodness, the fruits of our lives naturally reflect those same qualities.
Imagine a healthy tree with deep sprawling roots beneath the soil and strong branches heavy with ripe fruit above. The unseen roots represent the inner qualities that truly shape our lives, our thoughts, intentions, values, character, and our conscious friendship with Ahura Mazda through our good mind. The visible fruit represents the outward expression of those inner qualities, our actions, words, relationships, service to others, and the positive influence we leave upon the world. Just as healthy roots produce abundant fruit, a life rooted in truth and aligned with Ahura Mazda bears good fruit. These divine gifts are not rewards granted arbitrarily. They naturally flourish in those who cultivate wisdom, righteousness, and faithful devotion.
In Zarathustra's teachings, A truly meaningful and impactful life first starts with the three foundational principles of Humata, Hukta, and Varshta: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Yet these are not separate or isolated virtues. They form one continuous living process through which the good mind is expressed in the world. The roots represent good thoughts, and from those roots arise the trunk and the branches, representing good words. Finally, the tree bears fruit, representing good deeds. Together, they reflect a life lived in harmony with Asha, the divine order of truth and righteousness.
A meaningful life bears its finest fruit when our thinking, speaking, and acting are united by the same truth. Friendship with Ora Mazda cannot remain simply an inner belief. It must be embodied through action. As Yasna 31.21 teaches, the one who becomes Ora Mazda's friend in both mind and deed receives the blessings of a lasting good mind, righteousness, and fulfillment. Just as a tree draws nourishment from deep within the soil to sustain its highest branches, our souls are nourished by wisdom, truth, and righteous understanding. When the roots are healthy, the fruit flourishes. When our thoughts are guided by the good mind and our actions reflect righteousness, we become channels through which Ora Mazda's blessings can manifest in the world. At the very center of this philosophy stands Bahumana, the good mind, which Yasna 31.21 identifies as one of Ora Mazda's greatest gifts. Bahumana serves as the anchor and guiding force in our inner life. Radiating outward from this center, our values build our character, and our character guides our conscience. A conscience illuminated by Bahumana enables us to live in alignment with Asha, the truth. As the mind and action become united in righteousness, we fulfill Zarathustra's vision of becoming a friend of Ora Mazda. In this state of alignment, we move closer to the blessings described in Yasna 31.21. Therefore, this journey begins with the good mind and reflects in our lives through thought in both thought and action.
Zarathustra teaches us that in empowering truth, divine help does not replace human effort. Ora Mazda offers us infinite wisdom and perfect guidance, but he leaves it up to us to use our free will and our good mind to choose and act rightly. We have to do the work, and one of the most powerful ways we can fulfill this duty is by simply setting an example for others.
A beautiful illustration of this can be seen within our own homes. When children regularly see their parents or grandparents praying with devotion, speaking truthfully even when it's hard, helping those in need, and living daily according to the principles of Asha, something incredibly powerful happens beneath the surface. The child may not fully understand the theology or the prayers at the time, but an inner voice, their own Bahumana, begins to awaken. Those daily quiet examples witnessed in the unseen roots deeply planted in the child's heart and mind.
Just as sweet roots cannot produce bitter fruits, righteous thoughts and actions do not fail to leave a righteous legacy. The prayers offered, the truth spoken, and the sacrifices made in accordance with Asha becomes the invisible foundation for which future generations build their lives. By becoming friends of Ora Mazda, in both mind and action, we receive his gifts of righteousness and a lasting good mind. The Gathas emphasizes that the concept of personal choice and self-transformation. Zarathustra teaches us that each and every one of us must consciously choose between truth, asha, or druj, falsehood. The rewards of a good life and ultimately a better world do not happen by accident, but rather they come through conscious choices and righteous actions. It is like a chain reaction. Right thinking leads to a right choice, and a right choice leads to right actions. Similarly, right actions build good character builds better relationships, and with better relationships, we build a better society.
Let's paint a picture of how this works in real life. Imagine one single person lights a candle in a pitch black room. The room is not fully illuminated yet, but the darkness is immediately reduced. Now imagine a second person and then a third person enters and lights their candles too. Eventually, the entire room becomes bright. In the exact same way, Yasna 31.21 suggests that global social improvement doesn't start with massive external movements. It begins quietly when individuals look within, choose Asha, and light their own internal candle. Each person who embraces the good mind and lives according to Asha lights an inner flame that pushes back the darkness of ignorance, selfishness, and injustice. When more individuals make that choice, the positive impact can spread.
So, how can we apply these principles in the real world? Well, the teachings of Yasna 31.21 reminds us that our thoughts and actions shape our own spiritual journey. Everyday situations provide us the opportunity to live according to these principles. When someone treats us unfairly, we can respond with patience rather than resentment. When we are faced with a difficult situation, we can choose what is right rather than what is merely convenient. When we encounter those in need, we can offer compassion and assistance. Each of these choices reflects a commitment to righteousness and strengthens our own connection with Aura Mazda.
Yasna 31.21 reminds us that when the unseen roots of our lives, a good mind, righteous intentions, and devotion to truth, are firmly grounded in Asha, they bear the fruits of wholeness, righteousness, and lasting spiritual fulfillment. When we use our mind with wisdom and clarity, we come closer to Aura Mazda.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to be here and share our thoughts with you all. We'd like to thank Meher Uncle and Karishma Auntie for giving us this opportunity to present. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we would like to thank both of you for giving us this very insightful presentation. And maybe in the discussion section, if you could tell us how you went about putting the information together for this presentation, I think we'd all enjoy hearing that as well. So if you don't mind sharing that with us in the discussion section, it would help us to see how somebody so young and a brother and sister working together, which is itself such a joy, can give us this sort of insight. Thank you. Our next speaker today is Ian Dabu. Ian, very interestingly, Ian sent us the shortest introduction in the history of the universe. And we had to really request him to put together a bit more, which he has very sweetly shared with us. So now let's go through that. Ian is a senior consultant in climate change and sustainability services at Ernst & Young, where he specialized in structured analysis, sustainability framework development, and delivering measurable impact for global clients. His work spans programming and analytics, financial and management consulting, and strategic market intelligence, enabling organizations to navigate complex sustainability challenges with clarity and precision. Beyond consulting, Ian serves as the co-lead for the youth at the upcoming World Zoroastrian Congress. His leadership in diverse, high-stakes environments reflects a commitment to collaborative problem-solving and continuous improvement. Previously, Ian held the rank of sergeant in the Singapore Armed Forces, where he honed resilience, discipline, and the ability to lead under pressure. He brings the same rigor to his professional and community endeavors. Academically, Ian graduated with a bachelor's in business from the Nanyang Technological University, where he built a strong foundation in statistics, programming, and strategic management. Outside of work, Ian is passionate about endurance athletics, including marathons, triathlons, and mountain climbing, which mirror his drive for perseverance and long-term achievement. He is equally dedicated to fostering global community leadership, blending professional expertise with personal commitment to sustainability and impact. Before we invite Ian to speak, I'd like to take you through a few of these key words, which as you hear Ian and reflect on the Gathas and the prayers you do yourself, you will see that thousands of years ago, Asho Zarathustra in the Gathas, and you will see this in the Nyashas and the other texts, has thought about things that will solve problems in the future, thousands of years in the future. Look at the words climate, sustainability, the concept of professional experience for commitment and sustainability, the concept of finance and management consulting, Gothic concepts, the idea of how to lead with commitment and collaborative problem solving. Yasna 28 and 29 and 51 and 53 are all about these concepts. So let's listen carefully to Ian and then come back to the dialogue. Over to you, Ian.
Thank you so much, Karishma. I'd like to firstly thank the Bahamta team for bringing us all together today and my fellow speakers for their insightful presentations. I think from a theological perspective, I believe we've all learned so much from Everett Pervez, Everett Neville, and Natasha's reflections. For my discussion today, I'd like to focus on my own experiences with this theme, how unseen roots in my life have led to seen fruits. And this connects with this amazing upcoming World Zoroastrian Congress in December this year. For a personal story, when I started my national service in the Singapore Army, I was one of the youngest people in my batch. And at one point, I was tasked to lead a multi-day field exercise, setting up a cross-island communication network, simulating what it may be like in times of war. What people don't usually see in are the countless hours of preparation that go into this. I think we all see the military movies where we see the teams charging out into the battlefield. While most of my team members were asleep or enjoying their evenings, I and the fellow group of leaders were planning our routes, assigning locations for assets, and calculating meals, preparing medical contingencies. These unseen routes, discipline, foresight, and teamwork enabled us to have one of the smoothest exercises in years, with no injuries, delays, or adverse impacts. That experience taught me that unseen effort, when grounded in good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, hamta, hakta, khurpashta, always manifest as seen fruits, success in the end of the day. In the same way, the upcoming World Zoroastrian Congress is built on these unseen roots. The Singapore community, together with our global teams, have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, coordinating venues, catering, speakers, topics, and flow. These efforts may not be visible to the attendees, but they are the roots of what will make this Congress truly impactful, meaningful, and enjoyable. And on a deeper level, we are extremely privileged as Zarathustris to have such a dedicated and close-knit international community. Our Global Youth Working Group is constantly ideating on how to strengthen this youth focus, driving bonding and nurturing the leaders of tomorrow. These unseen roots of collaboration and sacrifice will bear fruits of unity, inspiration, and progress when the Congress comes alive. So, whether in the army or in our community, I've seen how unseen roots, this discipline, the sacrifice, and our Zarathustri values always determine the fruits we share with the world. Sweeter roots cannot produce bitter fruits, and bitter roots cannot produce sweeter fruits. As we gather at the Congress, may we remember that what is invisible either creates or cremates what is visible. Let us nurture unseen roots of faith, courage, and wisdom so that the fruits we share with humanity are authentic, dignified, and enduring. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian. As each of you looks, whether you can attend in person or you're attending through your friends attending the Congress, let us remember that the theme of the Congress is being worked on by an incredible group of people taking time out from their everyday lives, working with different generations coming together as they bring into focus Reach Out, Aspire, and Rise, very key concepts of the Gathas and our prayers. The program is still being finalized, I think, and will feature, as it says, many multiple elements to bring enjoyment and learning to all, with opportunities for engagement, connection, and interaction. So looking forward to many, many people attending this Congress and enjoying the fruits of the labor of so many people working behind the scenes. Thank you, Ian. Our final speaker of the day is Dr. Mehran Seferi. Dr. Seferi was born and raised in Kerman in Iran, in a Mobed family. His grandfather served as the High Mobed of Kerman, and both his parents were teachers. Dr. Seferi earned his BSc in engineering in Tehran before moving to the United States to pursue higher education. He received an MSc in Operations Research from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and a PhD in Industrial Engineering from Stanford University. He subsequently worked for more than 10 years in high technology companies in California, including Xerox and Oracle. Dr. Seferi was a founding member and vice president of the Persian Zoroastrian Organization and served as secretary of the Zoroastrian Association of North California. He was secretary of Fizana for 4 years. In addition, he served on the organizing committees of the World Zoroastrian Congress in Los Angeles in 1991 and the World Zoroastrian Youth Congress in Stanford University in 1995. Dr. Seferi joined the Graduate School of Management Economics in Sharif University of Technology in Tehran in 2000. He served as professor of management for over 25 years and has supervised numerous PhD students. He completed a sabbatical at ETH Zurich in Switzerland and holds a position at the University of Portsmouth in London as program leader. He has published several books and numerous research papers in both English and Farsi. Dr. Seferi served as vice president of the Tehran Zoroastrian Anjuman, and he is member of the Mobed Council in Tehran, certified as a religious speaker, and has served as an auditor. He has spoken at several World Zoroastrian Congresses and at many international religious forums. And he is also an active member of the World Zartushti Chamber of Commerce in Iran. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Mehran Seferi, and over to you for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Karishma. And I want to make sure I can share my screen. And please tell me if you see my slides.
Yes, perfectly well. Thank you, Professor.
Good. Thanks to Meher, thanks to Karishma and all the audience, and I'm honored to have an opportunity to speak on the topic close to my heart, fruits and unseen roots, that comes from Yasna 31:21. God promises us a lot of good fruits, the best in the nature, perfection, eternity, righteousness, independence, ever-guiding, good mind, but shows us also the path how to reach those fruits through the roots of good thoughts, words, and deeds. So I'm going to talk about the verse first, Yasna 31:21. And amazingly, it's what I teach in my engineering classes to my students, that there's always a cause and effect. You need a means to get to the end. So if you want those fruits, you need to find the path. You need a purpose to get the progress. And you can enjoy the journey as much as you enjoy the destination. There's always a process to get the products. There are always routes to get to the fruits. Exact topic that we have today and comes from Yasna 31.21. Now, I come from a science background. All formulas, equations, proven things, and repeatable. And then all of us have a religion that has certain beliefs. And I always wonder if the religion and the science are saying the same things. Is it evolution or is it creation? Is it the science or is it a miracle? Some religions may believe in magic, in superstitions, but I'm proud that my religion, Zoroastrianism, the science and the religion tell me the same thing, as we'll see in Yasna 31. Zoroaster went to the king at the time, Goshtas, and he debated the scientist, the priest, and everyone at the king's level, and he managed to convince them based on the reason, based on Asha, based on the laws that he saw in the nature. So we are talking about the trees, the fruits, and the roots. We always think the roots should be in a comfortable place, in a beautiful environment, so we have the fruits. In my belief, it doesn't have to. And we see a lot of successful people that come from poor families, from very difficult struggles, and they managed to increase their roots and they come up with better, successful fruits. So I always say that I see life even in stone, even in difficult times. And if you manage to root, you reach the sky. And it's always that you need resilience, you need perseverance, not necessarily comfort, to have what we call fruits of life. Now, obviously, there are many storms, and if you have strong roots, then you can manage to survive, and no storm can uproot you. Storms come and go, but if you have roots, you're permanent. And obviously, the strongest trees are shaped by the fierce storms. Now, if we look at Iran after Islamic attack, we see a particular symbol that is all over the mosque, all over the art, and that's a bent parsley, and that represents a tree that is bent but it's not broken. And that's what we're proud of, that after 1400 years, we're bent, but we are not broken, because very strong roots in the ancient traditions. Now, when we look at our events, we always see fruits, we always see flowers, we always see beautiful things given in life, but each one of them is a symbol of a concept, a symbol of a root. For example, in our Mergan, Tirgan, Nowruz tables that we said, the beautiful red apple represent Khordad, which means being the best, and the flowers represent the Spandar Majd, and so on. Now, I go back to my science, look at the statistics, look at psychology, and as an engineer, I always model. So I have a couple of models to present to you. We start with good thoughts. That's the basis. If we can think right, we can think clear, then we can speak right and impress people and accomplish and get to consensus. And if we do those two, then we can have good deeds and be a very impactful person. Now, that's the motto of religion: good thoughts, good words, good deeds. That's not the end of the story. If you follow those three basic things, then you have personality, behavior, relationship, accomplishment. That's the best in life. And then you would get to the fruits that you're looking for. So, from the basic thoughts, words, and deeds, you get to wealth, power, health, happiness, and respect. But there is another side of it that is the basic roots. And you have to have the right mindset, values, family, friends, experiences, upbringings, things that are not visible, but they are the basic roots that lead you to those great fruits that you have. And if you have those basic roots, including purpose, objective, culture, upbringing, then you build integrity, self esteem, discipline, and struggle. Now, how we're going to bridge the two is the hard work and it's the ethics. So basically, from my science I see a complete picture or a model of the world. Part of it is what we're seeking, but part of it is what we don't see. It's from being to having. And from there, I can look and see two parts. One is the visible side, is the seen fruits, and one is the invisible side. So we have fruits and we have the roots. Now, in our religion, we call the physical part Giti, the body, the physical parts, and we call the roots Menu, the spiritual world. So we have two words together. One is seen, one is achievable, and one is unseen, the roots. And that's my thesis, saying that the two words exist and you cannot have the physical world without the spiritual words. And we always say in our prayers, we say, Gititan bekame bad, have the best physical things while you have the best spiritual things. Now I look at the same model from Gatha, from Zoroastrian part, and I see it a little expanded. So if I look at the Gathas, I say, well, this is true. We have the mindset, we have the unseen roots and the fruits, but beyond that, God promises us امشاس پنداز بهومن Ashavahishta, Sharivar, Spontarmaz, Kordad, Amordad, from best mind to best Rosti, best Asha, to Shahyari, to Kordad and Amordad. And on top of that, Yasna promises us more fruits, and that's the beautiful part. It's not just we're looking for wealth, power, health, we're looking for much beyond fruits than we will achieve according to God's house. Now, if you wonder where the seventh Emshaspandan is, that's Ahura Mazda, and according to my learnings, it's everywhere. The entire thing is Ahura Mazda, and we are part of it, and we are trying to reach that. And that's exactly what we see in 31.20 and 31.21. Now, I look at my personal roots, and I'm lucky, fortunate, that I came from very strong Zoroastrian roots in Iran. So I deeply believe in Gathas, in Yasnas, in all the unseen roots that we should have. Come from a family that were teachers, they were achievers, and they raised me. And I was very fortunate to have mentors, teachers that helped me, including Mehban Firuzgari, my mentor for 50 years. He passed away, but I still remember his voice. I still remember his teaching that telling me about being a good Zoroastrian is being, not doing. And then a lot of things that help my roots. And I build on those roots, and I'm proud of my achievements. If I didn't have those roots, I didn't have the education, I would fail. But lucky enough, I had those roots, so I fell and I got up again. And even Fazana, that experience helped me build stronger roots. And I know Roshan and Revatna here, I worked with them. And I managed to be a better person, managed to have stronger roots, and being able to serve my community and achieve the fruits that I have today. Now, last week we had this celebration in Iran, and every year we have this pilgrimage to Yazd, where we call Pir Sabz or Pir Chak Chak, in the middle of the desert, where there is no rain. It's all sand. We see right in the mountains a very beautiful spot with a lot of trees. And those trees have hundreds of years of roots. And it's not a miracle. It's the roots that they were planted at the right place. And that is the beauty of Zoroastrianism. Now, I finish with Yatahu prayer, and I put a different meaning to that, and I'm sure the Hambandagi is going to repeat that. So basically, Yatahu vereyu atarahush ashachid hacha venkeush dazda manenkeu shautananam enkeush mazdai hashazremcha urai ayim dergubio that was darem. Now, the meaning is that Ratu and Ahu are both important and equally very powerful, and you should take care of the ones that need you. I would look at it, and I say it could be at 3 different levels. At cosmic level, the entire universe, at city level, and at personal level. One side of it is the physical world, the other side is spiritual world. One side is the fruits, and one side is the roots. If we look at the city level, which most people interpret that, we have what's called Ahu, which is the king, the head of the government, and the other side we say is the Dastur, the Mobed, the Sahibs, Ratus, and Yatahu teaches that they are both powerful, equally important. But we can look at the cosmic level, say we have a Giti, a physical world, and we have a spiritual world. But most important, at personal level, we have the achievements, we have what we see as a physical, as having, as fruits, and the other side, we have the roots being, and this prayer says that they're both important, they're both powerful, and as much as we should spend on a physical world, we should spend on a spiritual part of us. Now, Zoroastrian doesn't say anything about staying away from physical things, from enjoying the fruits. Actually, it says you should spend time and help the world. But at the same time, it says spend time on the roots, and they are both important. Thank you very much, and back to you, Krishma.
Thank you very much, Professor Seferi. We'll now open the floor to questions, and then anybody who would like to share their experiences, we'll open the floor later to the Vahuman sharing section. Are there any questions, please?
What about the Hambandagi?
And then we'll have a Hambandagi from Ervatsad Neville Kanga. Roshan Rivetna. Yes, Auntie Roshan, would you like to share what you've written in the chat? I'll spotlight you. Okay, whenever you're ready. So Roshan Rivetna says, enjoyed your presentation, Mehran. The Zoroastrian verses were very scientific.
Ready.
Yes,
ready.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Ready, please, go ahead.
So Rohinton and I were listening to Mehran and were really surprised how he has presented our Zoroastrian verse in a very scientific way, especially his last good thoughts, good words, good deeds, and how he built up that whole presentation was very interesting. I took a photograph of that view graph. So very, very well presented, Mehran. And all the other speakers were very good too. Thank you.
Yeah, nice seeing you, Miran. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. As I mentioned, I learned a lot from you. That was 30 years ago, but I still remember working with you in Fazano, working with you in WZC, and all the congresses we went together. And those are my roots. That's part of me being. May not have it now, but I still remember, and those are my roots. And thank you so much.
Yes. Yes. No, thank you. Enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, question.
Are there any other questions at all?
Yeah, I have a
Yes.
question for Mobid Karanjia. Elvar Sahib, our Thonan Institute in Andheri, is there any hope of, I see that you are a graduate of the institute, and is there any hope of reviving that institute in Andheri?
અત્યારે હાલમાં તો આખી આખોડા ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટ અમને તો બંધ થઈ ગઈ છે. આખોડા જે અંધેરી મદ્રેસા હતી એ હવે બંધ થઈ ગઈ છે. હવે તો નથી, ખાલી દાદર મદ્રેસા જ છે હમણાં.
હા, તે તો જાણું જ, પણ તે જરા આપણા મોહબ્બત સાહેબને આગળ ઇતિહાસ કરવા, આગળ શીખવવા, after they graduate, they need to be provided with some education in pastoral care for the community. So, is there some possibility of reviving the institute for further studies for our Mobids after they graduate from Dadar Athonan Institute?
હા જી, એ તો થઈ શકે છે. પણ જો ગ્રેજ્યુએશન પછી કંઈ બી કરવું હોય તો બીજા સબ્જેક્ટમાં કરી શકાય.
Yeah. કરવું જોઈએ. કોઈ ઉમંગ લઈને
This is a very important concept, Uncle Rohinton, that you have brought up, and I'd like to take you up in terms of what is your vision that you have in your mind. There is a root behind this concept that you've raised. What are your thoughts? You have very structurally created organizations that have lasted over 30 years and are still growing in a way that builds on foundation. So would you like to share your vision?
Yes, our Mobids are trained for ritual. They are ritualists. They are trained to be good ritualists and do a very good job of performing rituals. But other than that, they are not trained to provide pastoral care. In other words, service the community in terms of teaching the community, in terms of taking care of the community in their times of need, and all kinds of services
Lecture, teaching,
so,
spiritually.
enhancing the community and becoming leaders of the community, to lead the community. I see in India, I was at a Navjot ceremony, and while the ceremony was going on, people were chatting away and laughing and giggling and not understanding what was happening on the stage. The child was taking an oath to become a Zoroastrian, and the people sitting there were the witnesses, and they had no concept of what was happening. Mobid Sahib should, in the beginnings, inform people that you are the witness, you are witnessing a young child taking an oath, becoming a Zoroastrian, and we have to be respectful of that service. Things of that sort, just simple things that the Mobid Sahibs can do to inform the community what is happening. For instance, in the Jashan ceremony, Mobid Sahib should explain just a little something that we are going to perform. There's Karda in the beginning. What is it called?
What?
Yeah, there are three parts to the ceremony and things of that sort, and explain to them a little bit about what is happening. The flower ceremony is such a beautiful ceremony. Nobody seems to understand what is happening. And right there, we explain to the people by performing this ritual that we come from the spiritual world and return to the spiritual world, performing these Amishaspantas, performing the practice of Amishaspantas. Those are the concepts Mohammed Sahib should give just at the beginning of a Jashan ceremony. But they are not trained to do that. And we cannot ask them to do that unless we train them. So those are my concepts. And in times of need, they should be giving some consolation to the family. They should be there for them. They should spiritually explain to them what happens in this world and how we must conduct ourselves in this world. Things of that sort, like a lot of other communities do. So,
Hands up.
yeah, Mehran, in Iran, there was some kind of semblance of this kind of service, Mobbeds that performed this kind of service. But in India, I think that is forgotten.
Okay, you've
Yeah.
raised a very important point, and I think we should take it further. We've got comments from Mobidyar Teshter and Ervat Firdosh Dhaber, and we'll take those on board now. This is a dialogue that needs to be continued. There's just been the leadership program for Mobids at the University of SOAS here in London. And what you are describing is a very detailed program, and I'm very happy to catalyze this further if we have some people from the North American Mobids Council to put this together. It can be done online, Uncle Roynton, and it can be very effectively done online to bring the whole global community together so that there's a set of standard principles that can be followed, learned and followed and shared. But let's take the comments from first Mobidyar Teshter and then Ervad Dhaber. Thank you,
Good
Uncle
morning,
Roynton
good
and
evening,
Auntie.
everybody. Thank you for the lovely presentation. I agree with Rohinton. The Morbeds in India are good at doing the prayers, but when it comes to being a pastoral counselor and a guide, there's a big chasm. There's a big gap between what really should be done, could be done, and what is done. And I agree that they need to be more cognizant of people's needs, especially at times of difficulty. They are there for the Navjot wedding, they do the prayers, and then they are off. But being a priest, at least to me, being a Movadia, it is much more than just saying the prayers. There is a deep commitment to the community. And that sometimes I feel is lacking in the priests in India. It is more like do it, talk about it, and off they go. But to help out in the later stages, especially when one is grieving, it is lacking. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. Yes, Ervad Firdosh Dhaber.
Hi, Karishma. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to the speakers too. I just wanted to say, Mr. Ravetna, I could not agree with you more. I think what you raise is a very, very important point. And as a priest myself, when I do this, it doesn't take much to give the people, the congregation, a context, and then all the talking stops, everything stops, and you have, almost complete engagement. It's very, very rewarding to see that. So I think what you're suggesting is really important, and I hope that there's some way to do this better, both in India and here. Teshar, you made an important point, and I don't think you meant this, but but I don't think it's in any ways kind of the fault of the priests in India for what they do and things like that. That's really important to keep in mind. I think they're doing whatever they can, to serve the community. sometimes, the idea might not occur to them because it's just never been done and never really been taught, like Mr. Ravetna said. And maybe just a little bit of seeding that idea and giving them some ways to explain context, to engage the congregation could go a long way. And as far as the other aspect you mentioned, I think it's critically important to be there as a priest for those in the congregation who need you. It's doable, and it's also important to do it in a way that's non-intrusive, because everybody may not want your help as a priest, and so to have the understanding that if you need me, I am here. I'll go a little bit of a ways to let you know that, but I won't intrude in your affairs if you don't want help, in your time of need. Because sometimes I among other things, I actually research stress and other aspects of life. And sometimes you actually see this reaction of some people say, hey, you just don't, I don't need all your stress stuff. I'm fine. And at that time, they might not need it. There may be another time that they need it, or they don't need it at all. And it's all fine by me. I'm like, hey, look, I'm here. You need it. Great. If you don't need it, that's fine. But Mr. Ravetna, I think you make a super critical point, and I just want to join everybody else in acknowledging what you and your wife have done for our community, and done it in such a quiet, effective, truly Zoroastrian way, where I've never seen you toot your own trumpet or anything like that. And behind the scenes, you guys have done so much for so many of us, and I just want to thank you for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, Mami, you wanted to share something.
There, I must say that when Karishma had her Navjot done, Jimmy Marden explained the whole concept and the entire meaning of the Sadraposhi, Kasti, and everything that went with it, including the Nahan and the lot. After the Navjot ceremony was over, after the Sadraposhi was over, he took the trouble of explaining in detail to Karishma as well as to the people who were here. And it was so beautiful that I could go on listening to it forever. Kudos to him, really. He's so perfect, so efficient, and so very explicit. Like him, there should be more priests.
There are some very, very wonderful priests. And we
My
must acknowledge
kaka was one of them. Our kakas, I must say, my two kakas were very good examples of that. They also used to explain the meaning of the Navjot ceremony or wedding ceremony. And Dasturji Bod was excellent at it. He performed our wedding. Actually, I did not have any other wedding but the court wedding. So when Dasturji Bod came to our place, we requested him to give his blessings a day before that, when we went to the Agyari, not Agyari, to the Dharamshala in Delhi. He had come there to lecture, and he willingly said, yes, I will come. Keep these things ready tomorrow. So we kept everything ready, whatever he had asked for. And when he came, he did Arahantar for us. First in our Avesta and then in Sanskrit. And he explained word for word so beautifully. It took hours for the whole thing to get over. Karishma was just 2 years old then. I just wanted his blessings for the home and for us and for my Karishma's health.
that a priest does what he feels is needed.
But
not only
he
what
was so adept at it. He was so good. he didn't bother about the time. He didn't bother about losing his energy. He was at the end of his life, actually. And oh, it was just a marvelous thing. I thought I was in heaven.
How lovely.
It was that good.
Rohinton uncle, that brings us to the concept of how much the remuneration of the priests during the training period also, because when they're giving their time to be trained in excess of what they have committed initially, their time is important. So there are many aspects to what you have raised today, and I think it certainly would benefit from having a global working body approach to this idea of continued training. So maybe it's something that could be raised at the global working group also as a suggestion, and I'd be very happy to help and to coordinate something if necessary. If there are no more further questions, I think we should
Krishma,
open the section to the sharing area. Yes,
I just
please
I
go
just
ahead,
wa-
Ervat.
I just want to quickly add that I especially appreciate that this is like a very practical, effective, actionable, and actioning thing to do. Because it's great that we have lots of sort of intellectual engagement, and when we talk and we think, but doing this would actually make things happen. I think good things happen at a very practical level for many, many people. So again, Mr. Ravetna, I think this is a fantastic idea, and thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any further
We
questions
have to,
or comments? Yes? Yes?
no, we have to leave. We have another Zoom. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. We'll
Thank
come
you.
now to the question to Ervad Neville and his sister Natasha. Could you, before we close today, share with us your thoughts on how you prepared for today's session? What process did you undergo? Did it bring joy? Did it bring togetherness?
So yeah, right now, me and my sister are in different states right now. So we kind of organized this whole presentation remotely. Um, to basically start off how we're gonna create the presentation, we first researched a lot of translations of the Yasna Ha 31.21. We used a bunch of sources like Zoroastrianavasta.org to compile a bunch of different interpretations of the verse and how we could like create different connections to the theme. The light gives seen fruits from unseen roots to the Yasnaha.
Well, we also used everyday examples, like from our own personal lives and from the real world, just so that instead of just plainly explaining the philosophy, we could show how it applies like in everyday life with like students or families, friendships, and just our daily lives.
And then one other thing we also did was we looked at past Bahumata presentations. We mainly looked at Yazad Sidwa's Infinity and Divinity presentation just to sort of get an idea on how to create our slides and basically organize the whole thing to be able to present.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing. I had one question for Professor Seferi. When halfway through your presentation, I think you said something about when we fall, we can rise again. So I wonder if you could share with us any reflections on the concept of falling and rising and how it relates to our roots, our strong roots, when challenges come.
Well, that's the picture I showed with the storm. If you have a big storm, the branches, the big tree is going to fall. But if you have a strong roots, you're going to survive. I can tell from my personal life, I have not been all successful. I've fallen, as many other people have. But if we have the right roots and we stand on our roots, we can stand up again. We can blossom again. And that's Yasna 32.21. Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you very much. We will end with a Hambandagi from Ervad Neville Kanga with the blessings of Ervad Parvez Karanjia Sahib. And then we will stay online. We'll stop the recording. And anyone who wants to stay online and share things that they may not have been comfortable being recorded for, the session will still be open without recording. Ervad Sahib Neville, over to you.
So we will do two Yata and one Hashem. Yata ahu vaidyo ataratush ashatchidacha. Vangeush dasdamanango shotananamangeush mazdai. Shatrem cha aurayayim derekapyo daradvastarem. Yata ahu vaidyo ataratush ashatchidacha. Vangeush dasdamanango shotananamangeush mazdai. Shatrem cha aurayayim derekapyo daradvastarem. Hashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushta Asti Ushta Ammai Yatashai Vahishtai Hashem.
My profound gratitude to your parents, Ervat Saib Neville and Natasha Kanga. It's remarkable. You might be born and brought up in America, but you sound as authentic as any priest praying in Avesta, for which we thank your parents. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, I shall stop the recording. Gratitude to you, Ervat Saib Parvez Karanja, and your family for your dedication through your priestly duties.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Seferi, and thank you for remembering my very dear Uncle Mobedan Mobed Firuzgari, and gratitude to your parents for their service to education and the Mobed Council in Iran. Please remember, NAMC is doing a session on Barashnum. Erwat Firdosh Dhabar, if you want to say a few words in conclusion on that, please go ahead.
No, thanks, Krishma. I don't have anything to add except for what's been, shown in the notice that's been sent around. There are quite a few things coming up this summer too, so just take a look at the messages that they send out.
Thank you very much.
That's it.